CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you're with us on this Thursday. A North Bay man received a life sentence today for killing a 60-year-old man. CTV's Eric Tashner was at the courthouse for the sentencing. We warn you, some of the details in this story are disturbing.
60-year-old Bradley Armstrong loved to play the guitar. His close friend, Gordon Manley Woods, clutches his ashes tightly.
But I still don't want to lay him to rest because I miss him dearly.
Carter Parippa admitted to killing Armstrong in his Lakeshore Drive home in the evening of March 20th, 2021, when he was 21, and he used a machete to cut up the body. Parippa's rendition of the scene described him blacking out, waking up to find the dead body on the floor, and he followed guidance from TV shows to dispose of it. Parippa was convicted of second-degree murder and indignity to a human body. Justice Andrew Goodman handed down a life sentence with no chance of parole for 10 years. He said, "An act of dismemberment is the most horrific, gruesome act of violence in my 15 years as a judge." When deciding on parole eligibility, Justice Goodman took into account Parippa's plea, which spared the victim's close family from seeing crime scene photos during a trial.
Why did you do that to such an innocent person that would have given you anything you wanted in life?
Goodman read out sections of a report from Parippa's psychiatrist. It detailed Parippa's battles with PTSD, substance abuse, and anxiety, and that drugs may have impacted his decision that tragic night. However, the doctor said Parippa does not suffer from schizophrenia or psychosis.
Substance use, misuse, and abuse issues dovetail with the criminal justice system. If we focused on addressing those issues, we would have to focus a bit less on what comes through the criminal courts.
Judge Goodman is recommending Parippa serve his time at the maximum security Millhaven institution near Kingston.
I'm hoping that His Honour's recommendation has a lot of weight with the powers that be at corrections.
Meanwhile, the victim's close friends don't ever want to forget him.
It's hard when you lose a member to a murder and dismemberment, and it's just brutal.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
10 people were arrested last night in Timmins after a man reported to police that he'd been confined and assaulted. This was the scene last night on Jubilee Avenue where police executed a search warrant. According to police, a man had gone to the police station that morning to report his confinement. Police launched an investigation and by dinner time were in the McLean Drive and Jubilee Avenue area. Police found a gun and nearly $150,000 in illicit drugs. Among the 10 arrested was a 14-year-old from Hamilton, 2 men from North York, and 1 person from Attawapiskat. The rest were from Timmins. Shifting gears now, the wind has started to pick up. Snow is expected in some communities. To tell us more, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Not so fast there, Tony. Not so fast. You're saying snow is approaching. Okay, we'll take a look at the systems map, but we're in for some sunny breaks for tomorrow. First take on weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. This is the system that is leaving the Northeast, and we've got one approaching. Little bit of precipitation and again in the form of snow and some rain, but I think we'll be okay for at least for tomorrow, maybe with the chance of flurries or the chance of showers, 30-40%. Some details on the 5-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. The mining sector was top of mind for Canada's Federal Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, who spent Wednesday in Sudbury. Tim Hodgson says he wanted to understand what's needed to better support local mines, processing facilities, and communities dependent on mining. With the world knocking on Canada's door for critical minerals, Hodgson says he's looking to ensure Canada can capitalize. Some of the issues raised in Sudbury were clarity for permitting new mines, environmental responsibility, and working closely with First Nations.
We have all of the critical minerals that the rest of the world needs. Our G7 allies are begging us for an opportunity to have supply chains that are with us that don't involve non-market actors. And it's our opportunity to deliver that. And that will create good paying jobs for people, right here in Northern Ontario.
Today, the minister was in Timmins to announce Crawford Nichols' addition to the federal projects list. Lydia Chubak is covering that story, and we'll have more at 6 o'clock. 2 people from North Bay are facing drug trafficking charges in Chapleau. A man and a woman were arrested yesterday after Anishinaabe police executed a search warrant at a residence in Chapleau. Police say the warrant was part of an ongoing drug trafficking investigation in both Chapleau and the nearby Brunswick House and Chapleau Cree First Nations. Police seized an undisclosed amount of cocaine and codeine and charged the pair with 2 counts each of trafficking. Multiple crews were called to a blaze at a home in Sudbury this morning. 4 crews responded to a house fire on Howie Drive and Somerset Street at 6:30 a.m. Greater Sudbury Fire Services says there were no injuries as the home is unoccupied and is under construction. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but is not believed to be suspicious at this time. Well, it's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. Also ahead, we go to Sudbury for a winter clothing drive to help those in need.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, we've had some scattered remnants of precipitation throughout the northeast earlier today, of course, the odd flurry or 2. And in some cases, some sun and cloud. Lots of sunshine in Sudbury earlier today. Now we've got some overcast conditions. Here's the forecast radar as that system actually moves easterly and gets out of the area just in time for another system coming in. This is going to affect us on the weekend. Saturday around supper time, southerly areas, more precipitation than the north, which will get some snow, but we'll talk about that momentarily. 5-day forecast now, sun and cloud in Sudbury for tomorrow. Should be a nice day. 2 degrees, chance of showers Saturday at 4. Here come the flurries on Sunday at 0. And again, those percentages are kind of iffy. It might not. Monday, Tuesday, sun and cloud both days, 1 and 0, your respective highs. Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow at 6. Another 6-degree day on Saturday. It looks like it's going to rain at 60%. Chance of flurries on Sunday at 2. Chance of flurries on Monday, the odd sunny break, also 2 degrees. And Tuesday, some sun and cloud and a high of 3. This is a really iffy forecast here, getting into Timmins and Temiskaming Shores. Some sun and cloud tomorrow to start things off at -1. Chance of showers Saturday, which is a pretty good bet at 2 degrees. -1 Sunday, which is also a pretty good bet at 60%. Then we get down to some sunny breaks, chance of flurries -1 Monday, and more of the same come Tuesday, also at -1 for your daytime high. Now let's have a peek at what's happening at Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Chance of flurries for tomorrow at 30%, high of 1, the odd sunny break. Chance of showers Saturday, that's a likelihood at 60%. 2 degrees your high, -1 on Sunday, chance of flurries. Then we finally get break in the action Monday, Tuesday, some sun and cloud, -1 both days for Monday and Tuesday. How about North Bay, West Nipissing? Chance of flurries tomorrow, the odd sunny break at 1. Chance of showers Saturday at 3. Chance of flurries on Sunday at 0. So we shift from the rain to the flurries. Then Monday, Tuesday, we've got some sun and cloud, 1 and 0. So Tony, it's going to happen. We'll get some the chance of flurries or some showers in the northeast, but not as drastic as what we first expected. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. Closet Share in Sudbury is the distribution point for one of the community winter clothing drives. The demand is so great, it needs volunteers to help on distribution days after some unsettling issues cropped up last weekend. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
This warehouse area at Closet Share was where 3,000 pieces of winter clothing donated by the community were given away this past Saturday.
By 8 o'clock in the morning, we had a lineup of over 40 people outside. By 10 o'clock, we had over 200 people walk through the doors. By 10:28, we ended up having to ask everybody to leave because we ran out of supplies.
Porter says there were some upsetting issues at the clothing pickup.
There was a lot of people fighting for clothing, and there was some racial slurs going on, so we basically just asked everybody to leave once all the product was gone.
The warehouse is already being restocked for another giveaway, November 22nd and 29th.
It's heartbreaking to see that people are fighting over winter clothing because they are in such need of it. So, and it's not just newcomers, it's not just the vulnerable, it is everybody in our city that is struggling right now.
Porter says she has reached out to Greater Sudbury Police to help with crowd control and any conflicts, but has been told it would have to be a paid duty officer, which the nonprofit can't afford.
It was very scary to see the need in the community. It was scary to see all the racial comments and the issues that we were faced that day with, and how many people came through the doors so quickly. We were not prepared for it. We are learning as we go, and I think that it takes an entire community to run something like this.
Porter is hopeful the community will come through and people will volunteer to help make the next distribution day a smooth and peaceful one. Alan Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
And a new report ranks Sudbury as the #1 housing sellers market in Canada. Zoocasa says the city claimed top spot across the country in 2025. The company says this statistic represents a 7% increase year over year and reinforces Northern Ontario's status as one of the country's most competitive markets. The Sudbury Real Estate Board says this momentum hasn't slowed down since the pandemic, driven by several key factors. The board's president points to a lack of affordable housing elsewhere, the rise of remote work, and seniors looking to downsize.
4 to 6 months of supply will be a balanced market, and anything under 4 months would be a seller's market. Anything over 6 months would be a buyer's market. So currently, I think we sit under 400 listings in like Sudbury, what's called Greater Sudbury, I guess, not including Espanola, Manitoulin, and the outlying a little further out, which isn't a lot. Pre-COVID, you would have seen 1,500 homes for sale at any given time, and we haven't seen anything over 600 or 700.
Bach adds that with interest rates expected to drop, he anticipates the trend will continue well into next year. All under one roof coming up on CTV News at 5. Medical recruiters gather in Sudbury as communities look to find physicians. Physician recruiters from more than 30 communities across Northern Ontario are in Sudbury today. They're meeting with Nawsum University medical learners. CTV's Lindsay Alick has details.
It's the first time Northern recruiters have been under one roof.
We know that if we can build a collaborative environment for our recruiters, that as a region, we will be stronger and we will be able to flourish from a physician workforce standpoint.
The Northern Ontario Community Concierge and Connection event featured a professional development day, followed by a dinner and networking.
Often in recruitment, people think it's competition, like I'm competing with the community next door, but really we're supporting each other, because a physician that's going to be finding their home in my community might not be finding their home in a different community.
Smith says funding is a challenge when it comes to recruitment, but so is geography.
Communities are very spread out. Again, in Sioux Lookout, we're fortunate. We do have flights flying into Sioux Lookout daily from Thunder Bay or Winnipeg. I know colleagues in communities like Dryden or Hearst or Manitowoc, they might not have flights coming in. So if a locum physician is coming up, they have to fly somewhere, rent a car, and then drive 3 or 4 hours. Again, in the winter, that is not ideal.
Newbury says the #1 thing that gets grads in the doors is financial incentives.
Often our new grads are graduating with significant debt, and those financial incentives matter from the initial recruitment standpoint, but we know that what retains people is actually a really fulfilling career in a place that matters to them with people who they enjoy working with.
Dr. Newbury says the hope is to make this an annual event, and that Nawsum already has another event planned in October of next year to include learners from the west side of their campus in Thunder Bay. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
There was a gathering in Sudbury today to celebrate community and shine a light on the work being done locally. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
I really wanted to learn more about The founder of Angels of Hope Against Human Trafficking speaks to someone interested in hearing more about the nonprofit. The charity was one of a dozen at the Heart of the Crater fundraiser.
It was important for me to be here and our organization to be here today to represent what the Community Foundation has been able to help us with, and that was fund our anti-human trafficking billboards across Sudbury. Without the Sudbury Community Foundation, this wouldn't have been possible.
The event was organized by the Sudbury Community Foundation, which is a public foundation and charity that helps fund other charities across the city.
Because this is our inaugural event, we have 12 different organizations that have stations set up to just be able to answer questions and talk a little bit more, give a little bit more information about their programs, and again, how it's actually impacting people.
Each station was represented by charities that have been recipients of funding from the Sudbury Community Foundation.
With the holiday season coming up, times can be a little tough for families. We also know that there's a lot of issues that are happening here in the Sudbury community, and a lot of the organizations here are doing work that impacts that directly.
We're in a special place right now as the Community Foundation to be able to be that catalyst of change in bringing people together.
Given the turnout today and the feedback LaChapelle is hearing from those in attendance, she's hopeful the event can grow in the future. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Now in sports, 2 northern teams are taken to the ice tonight in the OHL. The Sioux Greyhounds are in Windsor to take on the Western Conference leading Spitfires at 7:05, and the North Bay Battalion are hosting the Erie Otters. Tonight's game in the Gateway City is the big ticket game, with local police and Special Olympians collecting money for the 2027 Special Olympic Winter Games, which will be held in North Bay. Puck drop is 7 p.m. In the NOJHL, the Espanola Paper Kings are in the Nickel City to take on the Greater Sudbury Cubs. The 2 teams are tied in the standings with 27 points apiece. Game time at the Countryside Arena is 7:10. Fans of the Timmins Rock will be able to use the main entrance at the McIntyre Arena tomorrow night, as construction of the new accessible entrance is now complete. Well, almost. According to the city's post on Facebook, the delivery of the railings was delayed. These ones are just temporary. The permanent railings will be installed next month with no disruption to patrons at the MAC. Artificial intelligence in job applications. When we return, our weekly Tech Talk segment. You're watching First at 5. It's an emerging software development practice. Maybe you've heard of it, vibe coding. And now it's been named Word of the Year by Collins Dictionary. To talk all things tech, let's bring in cybersecurity and tech analyst Ritesh Kotak. Hi there, Ritesh.
Hello.
Tell us more about vibe coding.
Firstly, I don't know if that's a word of the year. I actually think putting a hyphen between 2 words grammatically makes it 2 words. So I think that's kind of cheating. But regardless, it is the word of the year. And what vibe coding is essentially you're able to use these applications, GPTs like ChatGPT and other popular apps, and you just go in and you put in a prompt, prompting write code for a particular game or make a particular app for me. And without any necessary coding experience, it's able to generate beautiful code that you're then able to take and essentially create apps and games. It's not quite there for it to be commercialized, but we're seeing more and more people using it, and it just goes to show how technology could potentially be used for good.
Okay. Ritesh, here's an interesting development. Job recruiters are struggling to hire qualified people amid a flood of AI-written job applications. Does that mean people are using artificial intelligence to mislead employers?
I don't know about necessarily misleading, but yes, they're using AI to when they're applying for jobs. So essentially, I remember when I was applying for jobs, what I would do is go through the job posting, and it would be painstaking. I'd have to tailor my cover letter, tailor my resume. You no longer have to do that. You're literally able to take a link to a particular job post, upload it, and say, okay, write me a cover letter and tweak my resume to give me the best chance of landing an interview. And voila, within seconds, it's able to create it. That has created a issue for recruiters. It's now they're being bombarded with resumes. They don't know if the individual actually has the necessary skill set. All the more reason to tweak on how we actually recruit and hire individuals. And it's just this tsunami of data and resumes that are being hit by these recruiters, and they're like, okay, we see the value in the technology, but on the flip side, it's created a gap that needs to be filled.
And finally, Ritesh, some police services are turning to AI to handle non-emergency calls. How does it work?
So essentially, these are, again, non-emergency calls. So when you call, for a parking complaint or a noise complaint or a follow-up to a particular radio call, you're actually greeted by an AI assistant, so voice, and you have a conversation. They get your information, they can validate and verify, and then direct you to the appropriate resource. The whole idea being that it actually frees up call takers to deal with emergencies. In many police organizations, a lot of the call takers, they deal with emergency and non-emergency calls. So if we're able to leverage artificial intelligence to deal with the non-emergency, that just means that there's more resources available for the emergency, thus bringing down wait times and getting the help that individuals need when they need it a lot faster.
Ritesh, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ritesh Kotak was our guest, and to see more of our Tech Talk segments, head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Our first community close-up is from Sudbury. Our Children, Our Future is kicking off its Tree of Dreams campaign on Friday, November 14th. Visit any Canadian Tire location in Greater Sudbury, choose an ornament from the Tree of Dreams, purchase a gift for that child, and return it unwrapped to a Canadian Tire associate. And still in Sudbury, Ted Gunn sent us a couple of photos this week. He snapped these shots of some ducks at Mallard's Landing on the ice in the city's south end. Thanks so much for thinking of us, Ted. From ice on the pond to freezing drizzle in Raymore, southeast of Timmins, Lucy Moffat took a couple of pictures. She says the weather makes the scenery so beautiful. Thanks so much, Lucy. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can always email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.